So BTC hit all-time high this weekend, and I suppose we should be kind of happy with that straight after that Token 49 conference. So things are looking pretty good at the moment, but is it time for too much FOMO? How are we going to manage this, guys? So we are on a Sunday, or is a key event here. Let's talk altcoins. Let's get a proper plan going for this week. We've got tons to talk about here. Let's go. And remember, as always, hit that like, hit the bell, and hit the subscribe. You can see a little bit of changes happening here. This isn't the finished product. There's a bit of a rush job here, but we're coming in hot with the new studio. We got James in the house. Hello, sir.
Good day. Nice to have you back home.
And happy all-time high to you. Does that get you out of bullishness, or are we bullish? Where are we?
Except that I was sleeping when it happened. It would be nice to. I woke up to a message from Trader J this morning going, "Man, we did it." I was like, "What?" I had to go and check the chart. I hadn't even woken up yet. And
what do you mean we did it? We hit all-time high like 2 days ago, didn't we? Or did we go again?
We just keep getting them. Yeah, because what 125.6 or so was it that we hit? Pretty insane.
Look, it feels good to be back. Okay, so we're going to talk to James just now. There's a couple of new things happening as well, and let's get into stuff. Okay, so ASTER falling over. Now it was a little bit of FUD around ASTER. I'm looking at that chart today. Is there still a little bit left to squeeze? I see ZCASH plus 10%. Everybody's loving that one again. I actually pulled out the ZCASH chart, and I didn't have time to chart it, so I'll just chart it live for you guys. We'll look for a couple of entries there on the ZCASH, and overall look nice and green. SPX, like I must say, since I stopped watching it, this SPX keeps on ripping. I mean, it's quite frustrating here for me. At some point, we're going to get the dust off. We're going to dust off SPX. We're going to chart it, and then it's probably going to fall over. Okay, so we'll deal with it at some point. And Brad says James needs to sleep some more. Look, it sounds good when James is sleeping, reading all-time highs. I mean, yeah, you must go sleep. Okay, let's get into BTC. Let's see what's going on. It's always, I don't know if it's traumatic or exciting. I don't know, but look, when you see these types of vertical moves here, this is the 2-hour chart on BTC. I mean, you look at this thing and you start saying, when is this thing actually going to roll over? It's starting to feel like that S&P chart on the daily. If you take a look at what's going on here in terms of BTC, look at these divergences getting printed at the moment to the upside. Yeah, look at that, all over, but we've got a very strong cash flow at the moment. So that is kind of what's holding things together. So in terms of what I'm trying to do at the moment with BTC, I'm trying to be reactive. And again, I'm following the same principle that I like to follow on all of these altcoins. If we are in a bullish trend, we don't want to get too bearish on the situation. Obviously, we can look for shorts at key areas there. We can look for those rejections, no issues with that. But in terms of riding up these trends and following the VWAPs, you can see what I'm watching at the moment. You can see we've got this beautiful VWAP pushing up here for us on BTC. So key levels of importance to me. What am I watching right now? 121,700. That's pretty much your degen bounce zone that you're going to be tracking here. 121,700. Then it gets interesting for me. 119. That tells me we're getting a nice flush in the market. That tells me we've killed a couple of late longs, things like that. That is the healthier zone for me. 119,200 looking good to me. And then a little bit lower down, look at this 117K. This is an absolute cracker at the moment. Look at this horizontal in play. Look at our 0.5. Look at our VWAP coming into play in this zone. And let's just bang out a couple of these order blocks as well. You can see we get extra confluence in some of these zones using these order blocks. Okay, so there's a lot going on for me at these three levels. Again, not trying to predict, how far we can go, when we can go. I just want to be reactive on some of these zones. Okay, so these are the big ones for me. We drop into these levels. These are the ones you sniff around. You start looking for bounce plays. You start looking for longs of these zones. Okay, if we start losing this type of level and our cash flow turns negative, well, then we most likely start heading down to this 117K. Okay, so that's looking like the best one. Brad, I agree. I must say, like, if you have to say to me, where's my conviction zone? Where's my big area? That 117 is an absolute banger. I think have fun at 121, have a laugh at 119, things like that. But 117 is the banger. That's the big zone there for me. And yeah, thank you. So this is the new studio that is getting put together at the moment. And there's going to be a couple of changes, but yeah, super happy with how we're going at the moment. Okay, now let's talk all-time high. We know BTC hit all-time high earlier. What does this mean for us? When we get into all-time high, we can obviously start tracking a couple of interesting targets and things like that. And the best thing, or the first thing I like to do, is pull out my 1618s and my 2618s. And these give us two simple targets that we can work with. 135K is zone number 1 for BTC, and 152 is the next upside zone. Now, the question is, how do we get there and all these types of things? Well, I'm pretty confident it's not going to be in a straight line, but again, stranger things have happened in crypto. But typically, if we do push up again, we might see a big flash, and then we might grind up again into that zone. Okay, so that is kind of what we are seeing now. Once you break an all-time high, that is the simplest way. Even in with these altcoins and stuff, you just bang out your 1618 fib and you start looking for your upside targets, because remember, you're essentially in price discovery. We're trying to guess where these things can then go to the upside. Okay, so those are the upside targets. Again, I don't want to get overly bullish here, but 130, I think 130 was one of our targets at some point. 135 now is starting to look like a decent zone. Okay, so remember, all these charts that you see here on the show, they go straight into Chart Hackers Discord directly afterwards for you guys, including all the altcoins and all the setups. And I owe you guys a when entry setup as well, and that will be done today after the show for you guys. And remember, Chart Hackers Discord members, directly after the show, we got our Sunday banger with DJ and Dave. We're going to tee up the week together. We're going to plan everything, and we're going to make sure that we have a proper play this week. Undies on fire. I hope some of you guys bought my undies. I've been wearing them non-stop. I mean, I tend to clean them sometimes, but like I tend to wear them as often as possible. I'm loving the short squeeze ones. Okay. Let's go. Fear and greed back at 74. No one's scared anymore. Everybody is feeling super bullish. So 74, that's nice to see. In terms of liquidations, well, let's just quickly look at these undies. These undies are such bangers. Okay, I got another pair on right now. I was wearing short squeeze today. My wife just rolled her eyes at me. But anyway, absolute banger. We should get lickies. We should get lickies as well on these undies. Okay, let's go. $365 million. Liquidations, I think it's all the bears, and then maybe the late longers today, chasing the all-time high. James nodding a little bit there.
I think a little bit of both. You're right. Yeah, because everybody that saw that,
a little bit of a mixed bag. Definitely a mixed bag at the moment. James, I'm struggling to hear you. I don't know if it's my side or your side. Things are breaking up a little bit there at the moment. It could be me. So maybe just have a look there. Maybe just jump in the chats with a group there and just see if it's who's getting some a couple of things. Okay, so $365 million in lickies. Now, congratulations to all the Bitcoin holders. Okay, we made it. And we were all-time high recently, then we were all-time high the other day, and now we're all-time high again. And, just enjoy the moment. And if you look down, don't look down. Why are you looking down? It says, get your Bitcoin off the exchanges. Okay, don't look down. Sis. Okay, now, 1 week ago, Bitcoin is topped. We're going below 100K. Today, new all-time highs, Altseason next, okay? Crypto sentiment in a nutshell, the fastest things on earth, the cheetah, the airplane, the speed of light, and the change in crypto sentiment. I must say, I do love this. That's why I love this space so much. We can change so quickly. It's such a beautiful thing. And USMC says 119 weekly close or above. Yeah, 119 solid level as well. I saw Ali Charts was talking about a big level there based on the things that he watches, and 119 was the big one for him. Now, BTC has smashed through 125K, and we are now officially bigger than Amazon. Okay, until the next flush out in the market, but bigger than Amazon, always a good start. And reminder, Uptober is here, and James, it almost feels too easy though. We arrived on the 1st of October and everybody pumped the shit out of the market. Can you just take me through this? Is it really this easy?
Well, that's it. I don't like it at all. And just the sentiment on Twitter is like, this is looking so dangerous. So many top signals flying in. Everyone's screaming 200, 250K. They're all going to sell the exact top in December. They all know the exact plan. It's definitely going to happen.
Okay, so look, here's the thing. Like, October is 8% up so far. So there can be a lot of fun and games during the month of October, and we can still come and finish at 122K, and it will be considered up 7%. So just remember that. We can easily go back down to 105 without blinking, pump back up to 121, and October finishes green. So it is all now on the table after that pumpage, but it is nice statistically. So far, so good for October. It has played out well.
Wait till full moon here too, apparently tomorrow.
Was that tomorrow? Okay, well, 135 then. Maybe it's coming. New all-time highs in September and October bode well for Q4. Okay, this is Seth Gold. He's talking about the S&P here. Also, SPX has never made an all-time high in the month of October for 3 consecutive calendar years. But what I wanted to show you guys here was basically what happens here in quarter 4 on the S&P. And look at these stats here. The average is 1.3% positive in October. Okay, since 1950. He's got going on here. And then we've got the October to December, Q4, we 5.5% up. So that's pretty bullish overall, I would say, for the markets. And Dale is sending us to 174.309. Dale, why are you so precise, bro? What's going on here? What's
crystal
going
ball.
on here?
Must be the crystal ball.
And Daniel says, Bull Moon. Hello, Dan. Welcome. There's the bullhorn for us there. Okay, now the government shutdown is forecast to last 3 weeks. Nearly 700,000 federal employees are working without pay at the moment, obviously causing a couple of issues at the moment. And, it's another big week, another massive week in the markets, as if last week wasn't big enough. This week is just as exciting. We've got Powell speaking. We've got Fed meeting minutes coming out. We got New York Fed inflation expectations. Okay, that's not such a big one. And then we see the jobs report, the September jobs coming out on Friday. That is a big one. And data remains limited amid the government shutdown. So any more news from your side? What's happening here?
That's the problem, is it's hard to know what data is coming in and what's not. And I always follow that Forex Factory calendar. We were watching it last week. We see, okay, some of the folders are removed. Here's what we're going to see based on the folders that are there. As the data is supposed to come in, the folders were disappearing. We're going, well, shit, what are we getting? What are we not? It's hard to know. But the big one here this week will be Powell speaking, of course, right? That's going to be the big thing.
It's always exciting. Okay, I mean, there's never a dull moment. If we're trading short-term time frames and things like that, there's never a dull moment. Okay, so S&P looking good, all-time highs. You can see we're tracking the 50-day MA. We just watch this thing. We'll track it. At some point, we're going to get a reaction. At some point, we're going to get a nice move out of the S&P, but there is going to be some short-term pain. So we just sit back and we wait. It is coming. Okay, so just wait for that one. And then in terms of trades I'm interested in this week, this is Netflix that I'm looking at in terms of my stock trades that I'm trying to earmark here. And we are in the zone now. So Netflix 1140 down to 11, looking good for me at the moment. You've got that 200-day MA. Remember how these stocks love the 200-day MA, even if it is for a short bounce. Look at that little trend. If we hit that area, bang, we're looking for some kind of bounce here on Netflix. Okay, so 1,090 is our 200-day MA. If we do drop lower, we'll deal with that. But I am looking for longs here in this current zone. Now, in terms of the oscillator on Netflix, we are bottoming out here. We are looking for some kind of reversal around the corner, and I'm going to be testing that when these markets open tomorrow. Okay, don't talk shit about Powell, please. That's the best I can do, though, guys. It's the absolute best I could do at the moment. And in terms of BTC, and I don't get enjoyment out of bears getting rinsed, because we like catching a couple of shorts, but there's a whale down 27 million on his BTC short.
That's gotta hurt.
But he had conviction, and I don't think it was the worst call ever to look for a short there. So to avoid liquidations, he's put another 15 million USDC into Hyperliquid, and his new lickies is 130. So I believe they'll come and they'll come and grab it at some point. So
later, maybe with a bull moon.
We'll watch. Okay, we'll watch the show. I still believe we're going to catch a BTC short. I wasn't awake to short it. Maybe 125 could have been interesting for me, but I didn't see it. I didn't see it go down, unfortunately. Now, in terms of our weekly chart that we are watching, you can see what is going on here. That oscillator is still looking okay. Nothing to really complain about. But in terms of the weekly candles, you can see we are sitting below. Where was this? Our weekly high on the 14th of July, and we got to see where this thing closes at the moment. So looking good. We have pierced the upside. The last couple of times we did get downside after hitting these types of levels, so it is something to watch. And let's talk shit about Joe Powell. It's the best thing ever. It is the best thing ever. I thoroughly enjoy it. I love it. Okay, now you've got the levels on BTC. You know the plan. Okay, you got your DGen levels. You got your bounce zones that are interesting to me. Let's talk lickies, and this is our 1 week liquidation heat map. Look at that, all the way down to 110k. That's actually pretty disgusting in terms of what these guys can get up to if they want to. If we have a rough week, think war news, think surprise announcements from Donald, things like that, and think about a little flush out. So again, no euphoria zone. If you pump into 126, I would say probably worth looking for some kind of short there. And if you haven't taken profits already, maybe you pump into 126. That could be a nice play. Grab some profits there, that type of region. Just exercise caution. You can see all the fun is to the downside here. All of the action here is back to the downside. Mr. Fox, nice to be back to our regular. I agree, guys. I like, as fun as it is going to Singapore and Ibiza and stuff, like I like this routine. I like doing the stuff every single day and being in touch with the market. Sometimes, like, you know, you miss out a few hours here or there, and then you feel like you're not so in the game. So I'm very happy to be back, and nice to be in a new studio, and I get to do all of this stuff for you. Okay, so big stuff going on downstairs. Is Altseason here? 69. Look, some will call it a bull flag. I don't know. Bullish. I mean, we could get something here, maybe a little explosion, but right now we are below the altcoin season level. So let's just watch that one. And in terms of our Bitcoin dominance, remember, this is a big one for us. And this basically tracks alts outperforming BTC or vice versa. Okay, and at the moment, you can see we had some beautiful pumps here on the market earlier this week. When was this? Wednesday, Thursday, and we drop into these typical bounce zones, and that is where we exercise caution on the alt. So look at that, we dropped into that zone there, and now obviously BTC is getting favored, and it's all good and well as long as BTC is nice and green. But when dominance is pumping like this and BTC is falling over, that is when these, that is when these alts start getting a little bit hurt. Okay, so in terms of what we want to see naturally is, as altcoin traders, we want to see these rejections. We want to see these rejections from these types of areas. So right now, 59.3%. I'd love to see another rejection in this area, and that will mean also are favoring BTC. If we do drop lower, 58.4, that is your TP zone for your alts. 58% is a TP zone for the alts, and then you've got the big one at 57 that I'm going to be watching there. So any no euphoria zones when we hit these areas, this is where we're going to be careful. Now, this is a big one. Okay, this is a really big one, and you guys need to take note. This is USDT dominance, and you can see what is going on here. And I don't want to come across too bearish here. I don't want to annoy the bulls too much, but look at this massive support here. You can see we've got a major support zone, and we have printed our first blue reversal dot on the 12-hour. We've got a green reversal, and we've got bullish divergence on the 12-hour time frame. So if this plays out, what does this typically mean? Well, if that plays out, it means we most likely get some degree of upside on USDT dominance. Now, why is this bad? Well, basically, it means money flows out of Bitcoin, money flows out of altcoins, and they move it into USDT. So that means everything's getting rinsed. Okay, so if we bounce here, not good. Okay, rinse time if we bounce there. So we obviously want to see this thing roll over as much as possible. And then again, you can play the exact same game level by level. So, for example, if this doesn't bounce here and there is another pump in the markets, then you just go into your next region, and then you're going to exercise caution at your next area. Now you can see my next area here, my next danger zone is 4.12%, and then you've got your next area lower down at 4%. So these are all the zones where you say to yourself, I'm feeling a little bit euphoric. These are where I can get a bounce, and maybe this is where I look for shorts, and this is where I look for take profit zones on my altcoins. Okay, so if I'm flashing P&Ls to my buddies, these are the zones, you want to be kind of careful on. Now, I haven't reset this one. Let's see where we are here with these alts. It says 4-hour RSI heat map. Let's see what's going on. TUT, haven't heard of that. Cello, haven't heard of that. Cello, whatever that is. SPX. I'm a little bit hurt about this SPX, James. Every time I think I'm going to watch it, and I forget that I watch this thing. It's doing things again. It's offensive. MYX, James, this MYX, wasn't this thing pumping for like days?
It did, and it got absolutely destroyed too. That thing is volatile as hell. I'm not sure what it is. Everybody was trading it in the Discord, but I don't know what the token is. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Can you find out what this thing is? For some reason, it might be a DEX. I don't know. So it might just be part of this DEX, the DEX train that everybody's jumping on. But look, it's heavily oversold, guys. Again, I don't know if there's unlocks and things like that, but something this brutally oversold, it's going to have a squeeze. It's going to bounce at some point. So it might be worth taking a look here. Let's see what this thing is, and let's just see the type of unlocks and things available there at the moment. Okay, so a couple of tokens I touched on last week. I see I've still got Aptos here in front of me. So yeah, look, no changes to Aptos. I spoke about this on the show I did from Singapore, and I said, look, use this 200-day MA as your main support, and you can see off she goes. So Aptos is doing its thing at the moment. There are no new levels now for Aptos. If you are sitting in this thing, 4.85, that is your big support level that you're going to be using. And look, overall, you have broken the daily trend, and if there is a pullback, it's it's a relatively simple play. Okay, you get your pullback, you're probably going to get a 618 and all these types of things at that level. It's going to be a monster zone for a bounce. Yes, sir.
MYX is the governance token of MYX Finance, a DEX built on BNB. So that'll be why with the BNB and CZ and all of that bullishness that's been going on makes a lot of sense.
Okay, right. So a lot of, let's call it chance takers.
Yeah.
Okay, so look, maybe it's a cool project. I don't know. Everyone just jumped on the DEX trade. I mean, that's obviously what is going down. Okay, so Aptos traders, I don't have a setup for you guys. That's the level, that's the support, massive support, 4.85. That looks really good down there. If you do get that little dip in the market, you can see we do have a reversal sign on the daily. But again, you can get multiple reversal signs, and this could take ages to play out before this thing falls over, and that can naturally mean more upside on Aptos. So all I can say, 4.85, that's your big support you want to use now. Now, there's a company or business called Trend Research. Now, I've never heard of them. I was just reading this earlier, and they depositing and selling ETH. Now, they've made tons of profits, these guys. A little article came out on Blockchain News. Okay, they deposited 145,000 ETH to Binance in 3 days. Near full exit, estimated USD $300 million profit. Now, this is how these big institutions trade. They don't care about the final blow off top and the fluff and all these types of things. At the end of the day, they had a mandate and they probably excelled on their mandate. They made $300 million. Everyone gets a nice bonus, and now they go park for a couple of years and they come back when ETH is 1K again, and they ride again. Okay, so that's how the big guys are playing, and quite often, it's the smaller guys, the retail, all of us, that end up riding these things, and we ride these euphoria and the blow off tops and things like that. But just remember, the big guys like this, they're getting out. They made their 300 million. They're not greedy. They probably sent their P&L to their wives, and now they're chilling. Okay, so the big boys are getting out, and again, it could go higher, but do they care at $300 million? I don't know. It's a tough question to ask. So in terms of ETH on the 3-day, we can see what's going on here. Our oscillator, a little bit of a mixed bag at the moment. So you can see our oscillator has actually lost the big level, okay? And yeah, exactly, Dan. If it's on X, we must believe it. And we can see we have lost this level. That is obviously interesting to me. Volume is dying down a little bit, but I think it's fair call that it is the weekend. So you can see that volume is dropping off at the moment. And look, overall downtrend until proven otherwise. This is where we are. Okay, so you've had your high, then you had your lower high. You've got another lower high in play here on ETH. And what we can say, we can call this one a bull flag, but if the market is going to reverse here, this is your next obvious zone. Okay, so 3,600 for ETH comes next. If the market decides to roll over, that is the next obvious play as part of this flag. So that could be a beautiful reset. That could be a beautiful flush in the market, but that makes a lot of sense for me. VWAP from the lows, 382, lots of action here, and we'll deal with it when we get there. If this happens, we'll have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday to deal with it. And, if we go down there, we'll go fishing. I think we'll have a good time. But in terms of degens and things like that, you ask yourself the question, and how we can play this is, okay, what if the market doesn't roll over? What if the market goes for round 2? Now, I'm a bit of a degen trader. How do I get my entries if I think, things can go pump a little bit more? So that is when I go down into the lower time frames, the 2 hour, and I look at these things. I try and be obviously as objective as possible. I don't like to get my emotions too involved in these types of things. But in terms of interesting zones for me, where I would fish for ETH, okay? Degen zone number 1, 4,400. Look at this. You've got tons of confluence here. You got your bullish 236 fib. You've got your 50-day MA coming into play. That's a reasonable zone for the degens to look for a bounce on ETH. Okay, so 4,400 degen high leverage traders, that is your zone. Okay, then a little bit lower down, I've got a mixed box here. And the reason I like this mixed bag is because it depends how long it takes for the price to get down here. You can see our VWAP from the lows is grinding. It's slowly making its way up here. Okay, so what I want to see is anything from 4,300 to 4,200. That is a higher conviction long zone for me. Okay, so that is my ideal area here. And that is just literally keeping with the system of trying to hold this VWAP, let it climb up and do its thing. And naturally, this would mean, this might only go a little bit lower and then start pushing up again before this thing drops again. Okay, so the big zone for me, 4,300 to 4,200. That's the higher conviction zone. Again, degens, 4,430 to 4,400 looks like a banger. You might want to have a crack at this thing. Just to, stop candle close under the 50-day MA. Play around there if you want to. The higher conviction is over there for me on this ETH. Okay, so it might mean we get a bit of a bearish Monday, things like that, but that makes the most sense to me in terms of what happens next. And then if ETH does start ripping tonight, let's say ETH starts blowing off, whatever goes on, these Asians come in, they start buying it. Where do you need to be careful? 4,710 and 4,980. Okay, those are your two upside danger zones. I'd be super careful up there. If you're feeling euphoric in those types of regions and this thing blows tonight, then you are possibly looking at a bearish divergence print, which is going to add to something like that. And you're going to get that lower high and you're going to get that bearish divergence. And that is possibly going to happen at one of these two upside regions. And that, again, is where you need to be careful. So, okay, so these bearish divergence prints, yes, they can get they can get quite dark. Okay, Nitin says, is 𝗏𝗏 on your list? It is, sir. Okay, so 𝗏𝗏, here's our win entry from last week to 𝗬𝗏. And I'm talking about this token today, but I'll give you guys a fresh win entry, especially to celebrate the new week. Okay, we'll get a fresh win entry for you guys. Okay, let's talk a couple of things. This is my current bag. I'm fully out of the hype long that I was cruising in the other day. That actually closed via TP. It was a nice, pleasant surprise. And, a part of me might have wanted to hang on to that thing, feeling a little bit euphoric. So it's quite something nice to be said about having a preset TP floating around to grab some profits. Now, a couple of things going on here. ASTER, I'm flirting with it at the moment. I'm talking about that in a second. Hype, I've got a short running here at the moment. 𝗬𝗰, I've been building this long again. Okay, this is a fresh one. We're gonna talk about 𝗬𝗰 to 𝗬𝗏, building the short and the long at the moment, as you can see. And I am going to be talking about that chart here. Bearer chain, thanks to Dave. He gave us that bearer short. When was it? Wednesday, Thursday. He gave us the bearer short on my show. So I took that one. Also, the hippo short was from Dave when he came onto my show. Jumped into that. What have I got here? Pump. This is up and down. This thing was cooking earlier. I see it's a bit red now. We got 𝗁𝗲. I'm trying to build this 𝗁𝗲 long at the moment. This is the one that hasn't actually performed yet. And I'm getting a little bit torn. Hackers, I'll take you guys through this 𝗁𝗲 one on the Sunday banger directly after the show. And then SOL, I've taken some profits on SOL. Not all of it, obviously. And I've got a short running just in case. Okay, so that is the current situation. Okay, and the reason being is I'm feeling a little bit 2 hour and 1 hour, maybe 4 hour, a little bit bearish on some of these things. Okay, so SOL, everyone is talking about SOL again, apparently. 99,000 mentions, and it's the #1 chat. Look at the XRP doing well. Doge, do they still talk about Doge? And it looks like they're talking about Trump coin here at the moment. I can't believe people still talk about Doge, James. Like, do you talk about Doge?
I mean, occasionally, and it is the oldest, biggest, most well-known. And if we get people that are jumping in here retail from last cycle or whatever, that's the meme coin they know. So you never know. That could be why. It's just it's the Bitcoin of meme coins.
One. I mean, I get XRP because
it's the best. Yeah, that makes sense.
it's just the best. I totally get it. It's okay. But yeah, I don't know. Okay, so in terms of SOL, what's going on? What is the actual picture here? This is SOL on the 3-day, guys, and you can see at the moment all we've got is SOL printing a lower high. Look at that. There's a little lower high there at the moment for SOL, and right now we can't get too sort of overly bullish until we start breaking these types of levels. We want to actually start blowing up here and then heading out. So I want to clear 250 nicely on SOL. I want to break through that. And then we want to start saying, okay, the bull is on. Right now, we are sitting at a lower high, just like with ETH and a couple of other tokens. And there is the possibility that we get this rejection here. It is on the table. Again, I mean, I don't think it will be that brutal, but right now we are dealing with a lower high. So we just got to be face the facts here. And in terms of the 2 hour for SOL at the moment, things are looking quite nice. Okay, so we've had a beautiful push to the upside, and you can see I've got my rising trend, I've got my 50-day MA, I've got my VWAP, I've got all the fun stuff. But this is what's bothering me at the moment on the short term. You can see we've got our 2 hour reversal print, and you can see here 4 hours showing strong bearish divergence. So I just want to flash this one for you guys again, just so you can see. We've got it's called a triple bearish divergence print, this blue one, and you can see that thing is starting to really put pressure now on Sol. Okay, so the thing in its favor for the bulls, we've got quite a thick cash flow. That's okay. If the cash flow was red, I'd say, geez, guys, this thing is going to get absolutely wrecked. But right now, the cash flow is still green, so that is a little bit bullish, obviously in its favor. Volume dying down, but again, this is weekend sort of vibes at the moment, so it makes sense that it does tail off a little bit. But in terms of where do we catch our next bounce for Sol, let's say we are super bullish and we believe Sol can go higher. There's a reason I'm not aping in here, because I want to see, this 2 hour start playing out. I want to see these things start dipping a little bit more. I want to get a reset. I want this weekend fun to start cooling off a little bit so that we can start making some rational decisions. And the big level for me, and I've written it here, strong confluence zones. Okay, so these are my higher conviction areas where I start looking for like bigger size positions. So again, there's nothing wrong with flirting. If you want to flirt in areas like this, you want to play DGen games, go for it. Okay, these are zones that could very well give you a bounce. 226 down to 224. That's a possible DGen reaction zone there for Sol. You can see that. But for me, slightly higher conviction stuff where I believe we're going to get reversals on oscillators and stuff like that, we kind of want to see this thing dropping a little bit lower, and we want to drop that into a solid area like, for example, 214. Quite nice. We got the 50-day MA. We got some nice horizontals here. I've got a 0.5. That's a nice bounce area for me. A little bit higher up, we've got 219. We've got a 382 here. We got our horizontal. So the conviction zone depends how you play your leverage, but that for me is the main zone. So it's about a 3% risk from 219. Call it 220 to 214. Okay, that's about a 3.5% risk. That could be the move for you on Sol that you are looking for. But this will mean we need a nice clean out now at the end of Sunday. We need a nice flush maybe Monday, and that's about a 6% dip. And a maximum of 6% dip. I don't want to look for less or more than that, but maybe even a 3.5%, and you can start jumping into this thing for the next bounce on Sol. Okay, so there's my general view on Sol at the moment. Let's see if we can get that reset. That 4 hour doesn't look great to me. Okay, so if Sol pops off 226, what do you do? And if it happens early, this is the thing. Okay, so this is the thing with some of these alts. They're showing various signs on the 2 hour and the 4 hour. So it doesn't mean they can't hit a 236 now and bounce. So Sol could, for example, bounce off this 226 now and give a little push. Same with ETH and things like that. They can have another bounce. What that does, it solidifies that bearish divergence. So that 2 hour bearish divergence will print again. The 4 hour will probably print again as well if it pushes to the next level. So it doesn't mean like you can't trade it. This is literally a shit the ceiling event that could be playing out. It just means make sure when you're getting into these overcooked zones that you are clipping profits. Okay, if you holding, you can get yourself in a little bit of trouble. Okay, so 240 here. That's a reasonable upside target for Sol. And then the highs, 254, you can see that is a reasonable upside target there as well. Okay, so those are the two big ones for me. Watch out there. These are high quality rejection zones. If we push into these areas, both of those areas are dangerous there. So just look after yourselves on the short term. You can see there a little double top at the moment. Maybe a little bit of a dip. Remember, these charts go into the Chart Hackers Discord straight after the show. Okay. Oh, and don't forget, guys, the Chart Hackers price for the Discord after November is going up to 149. But if you are already in the Chart Hackers Discord, you are never going to pay more than the existing 99 that you are paying already. So if you're contemplating it, get in before the end of November, because everybody who's in there now is going to be well looked after. Okay, you guys will never pay more than 99. Okay, just want to put that out there for you guys. Okay, what is this MYX breaking out? I mean, we just spoke about this thing, and this thing is now looking for some pumpy here at the moment. Okay, let's see what else we got. Now, Punky says, how's this guy, James? What the fuck? I'm all in ASTER because I'm not gay. I mean, this guy's bullish on ASTER because of this. Crypto is such an incredible space. Okay, are you more bullish on ASTER now? Are you
definitely? As soon as I saw that, yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I'm bullish on ASTER again. So ASTER is smoking circle in fees according to Satoshi Flipper. Generated, so it's smoking circle in fees generated, okay? Has a market cap of 36 billion, ASTER's only 3 billion, okay? So he's basically saying 10x here. And I mean, look, there's a lot of bull posting about this ASTER. And like I said before, it could be a bonk situation or a pump situation where it's artificially getting pumped and, you know the deal, okay? I mean, these guys were buying memes with their own money on pump.
Did you see the Did you see the tweet here about influencers saying that, hey, these guys are going around paying all these influencers to pump this token, they're getting free tokens to shill it and all this stuff? Did you see that?
Yeah, like again, and you never know, like that's what I'm saying, but it actually doesn't matter. If we got the price action here and there's market makers and it's bouncing off certain areas, we can trade this stuff, but we got to just be aware that when it loses momentum, then the trade's over. We got to find the new shiny object that everybody is talking about. So while the whole of X is talking about this stuff, that's cool. We ride it, and you can see here, ASTER's $29 million daily fees. This is a bot. Okay, now I just saw this comment. I saw this bot. It says, fees versus Circle $7 million at 1/12 the market cap, either mispricing or sustainability doubts. DEX outpacing the stablecoin giant question traditional metrics. Okay, Binance Link growth cuts both ways.
There's this airdrop FUD too. Do you saw that?
No.
Yeah, because there was supposed to be an airdrop. People thought it was happening today, and that's where it dumped. But from what I was seeing online, that actually doesn't happen until October 17th. And so it was a dump based on an airdrop that didn't actually happen yet. It was just miscommunication, or they didn't understand. So from what I understand, it doesn't happen until the 17th, and that's why it dumped like this.
Okay, so this isn't necessarily the worst news either, because, I mean, something you guys can look forward to, and I'm sure if you've been watching the show long enough, my general sentiment here is, if we're getting a sell-off of a token based on a monster-sized airdrop, it tends to sell off leading into the airdrop. And when the event actually happens, when those tokens get unlocked, a lot of the sell pressure is taken care of, and you actually often get a squeeze in these things. So if we get ASTER dumping into the 17th of October, that's going to be quite a big opportunity, in my view, to grab some action there, get some kind of bounce out of this thing. Hello, Zim. Hello, Sir. Okay, so let's talk ASTER on the DGen timeframe. Like, we treat this like a DGen chart because it doesn't have that much information. But, you know, for me, looks like bounce zone number one. Look at that. We're getting a reversal on our oscillator. That's in favor of the bulls. What's in favor of the bears? The cash flow is turning red, something we need to watch. Okay, so let's keep our eyes on that. But we can't argue that this is a reaction zone. Look at this. Look at how the candles are reacting here. So for me, ASTER, if you want to try a bounce here, 181 down to 176. That looks like reasonable support. 181 to 176. Reasonable support zone for me on ASTER. If we start losing levels, then I'll give you these zones. 167 looks like a play, and then for me it's 155. Okay, so right now, DGen longs, if you want to give this one a crack, and just remember, size is important on ASTER because it's super volatile, and if your leverage is too high, you can get absolutely smoked. Look at this area alone is 3.5% risk. Okay, so you can see I'm playing super small on this ASTER. I don't take big size on this thing. I rather let the momentum take control and then let it ride. So there's about a 3% risk if you want to play from 181 to a close below 175. Flirt around there. Let's see if we get some kind of short-term bounce. But again, it could be short-lived. It could be that, or it could be that move that you're looking at. So don't get too euphoric on this thing. Let it give you, let it give you 6, 7, 8%, and then maybe just reassess how you're looking at this thing. Okay, so ASTER, that looks reasonable to me there. And Hype, okay, so yeah, nice. Again, nice that that thing exited. Nice TP then for Hype, and a little short in play there as a little bit of cover. So Hype is now dropping. Let's just zoom out quickly. Let's talk some big Hype areas here first, and let's just try and see where we are. Okay, so Hype, bigger picture, you can see why that was a typical exit zone for me. Look at that undercarriage over there. So 52 monster area, 618, macro 618 from the highs to the lows on the 25th of September. And then the undercarriage in play, so 52, big danger zone for Hype. Okay, now what do we have at the moment? We've got bearish divergence printing on Hype, so that is a possibility that there could be a little bit of weakness on this thing. And we've got our cash flow dipping a little bit here, our volume dipping, and that cash flow is starting to turn over. So we got to watch this one. If this cash flow does start turning a little bit red, then this might just be forced a little bit more, and we might see a little bit more downside. I was feeling epic. Where can I get when entry? You get them here. Go to my store. Okay, go here. It's lordofentry.com. There's a link for you in the show description. Go under the show. click on more, okay, and go to the store. Where's my store? There it is, Lord of Entry Apparel, okay, there it is. Click on that thing, and you're going to be able to buy all the lickies, tops, and all those things are there for you guys. Everything else I talk about, the exchanges I trade on, WEX, Bybit, Blofen, BTC.C, the Pinex bots, Bitfunded, it's all here. Oh, and very important announcement, guys, my accelerator course, I'm doing a workshop on Tuesday on how to build these reaction zones, how to build these entry zones. So if you're watching the show and you're feeling a little bit confused and you're trying to take notes and you're trying to pick up like how I do this stuff, well, first thing you can do is go do my accelerator course. Okay, so that explains the basics of TA. I cover things like support and resistance, the VWAP, the order blocks, the fibs. You'll have a full understanding once you've watched those videos, and then I put it all together in a workshop for you guys, and I'm doing that on Tuesday. Okay, and if you've done the accelerator course, come to the workshop, number one. Also, and if you've done the accelerator course, you're going to get a Bitfunded as well. Okay, so you can practice what you've learned using Bitfunded. Okay, so everything is available there, and just click on the accelerator course. There it is, top of the list. Oh, wait, I'm going to show you my screen. Here it is. There it is, top of the list. Okay, there it is, Dylan's Accelerator School workshop tomorrow, Tuesday. Okay, and like a calm, I'm not going to be shouting in the microphone. We're going to be having fun. I'm going to explain to you how to build these hot zones. Okay, you probably have a few light bulb moments there, and you're not going to see me so excited and pumped. Okay, even though I am, obviously, to teach everybody cool shit. Okay, okay, so that is that. Now I'm getting so digressed here. This is actually insane. James, where was I? I don't even know what I was talking about. Was I talking about hype? Okay, the last thing I remember was hype was looking bearish on the 4 hour. Am I on the right track here, James? Now we need to, okay, good. Now we need to give some kind of bounce zone here for this thing. So let's zoom in. Let's look at lower time frame. And let's start picking out a couple of areas. So keep it really simple here. Let's look for our big one. Our big one for me often is a 382 and a VWAP combination. Now, unfortunately, I'm a little bit less excited because the 50-day MA is it's hiding. Okay, the 50-day MA is a little bit higher. Let me just clean this up here. Let's take that away. Let's move that and let's get rid of this order block. Okay, so you can see there's an order block here. So we're going to use this now in the example. So DGens, okay, DGen level number 1. Okay, there's a DGen bounce zone here. Look at that. Look at these horizontals here. You've got your 50-day MA as well. You've got your trend. Okay, so that is definitely a zone that you want to be interested in. Okay, you want to pay attention to that area. We know traditionally the 50-day MA can give you some type of value there, some type of bounce. Okay, so that is your bounce zone number 1. What is against you in terms of the bullishness? Well, the fact that we haven't had a reset yet on the 2-hour oscillator. Now, again, it depends on your time frame. You can watch much lower time frames if you want to, and you can start looking for these lower time frame reversals. Here's the 1 hour dropping into the lows. So that is saying pretty soon we'll get a 1 hour situation. Let's look at the 45. It depends just, it's like on a scale of 1 to Maruk, like how degen are you? You know what I mean? It depends, like Maruk uses like what, James? 1 minute candles. Okay. So, I mean, you can find a reversal every like 5 minutes if you want to, but look at this. Yeah. The 45 is also dropping into the lows here at, I mean, it's close. Okay. So in terms of reversals, possible degen bounce zone coming here between 48.4 and 47.8. There's a possible short-term bounce brewing for hype there. Okay, so you might get something out of this thing now. Then a little bit lower down, I've got slightly more conviction in this region. Call it 46.9. That looks like a banger to me. Why is this interesting? It's our 382. It's our VWAP from the lows. It's our horizontal in play. And we've also got some trend action over here. Okay, so for me, the higher conviction, call it 47 down to 46.2, and then you've got a degen play here, 48.4 down to 47.8. Okay, so I'll put this into the Charthackers Discord for you guys. And oh, guys, yes, and also tomorrow is Monday, and on Mondays I do all my higher time frame chart updates in the Charthackers Discord. So you can get like 20 to 30 setups from me on a daily time frame or a 12-hour, and that's going to give you some really big support and resistance levels. I missed last Monday because I was traveling, but we've got you. Okay, Tech3 says long your longs. Okay, there's hype. And gosh, okay, we're running out of time already, and I've got so much for you. I've got AVAX, I've got Sui, I've got Pump, I've got ZCASH, and I've got 𝗬𝗃 coming in hot for you guys. Okay, let's go. AVAX, apparently the DEX volume saw $405 million. I mean, what is that? Guys trading on Trader Joe? What are the other things, James? I mean, yeah, I don't know. You know, people using AVAX, that's nice. Apparently the gaming guys love that thing, but yeah, I mean, 405 million, apparently it's big news. In terms of big levels for AVAX, let's just take a look here. Here's our 3-day AVAX chart. Let's see. The oscillator not telling us too much at the moment, but in terms of our major levels here for AVAX, I think we can reasonably say we've got 28.3 and we've got 26.5. So if you are a long-term trader or you're sitting in, you know, some of these Pinex bots or anything like that, you know, then you chill. Okay, you can watch those types of levels on AVAX. You got nothing to worry about. Your high conviction, high confluence zone, 26.5. If you start closing under that, yes, like then maybe have an apoplexy or whatever and start worrying about what you want to do. But right now on the 3-day, AVAX is good. Okay, 28.3. 26.5, there's no issues here. Okay, until we start losing that 26.5, I would say this one is still a banger and probably worth a little bit of a look. Okay, so lower time frame. Let's see what's going on. This is us on the 2-hour. What have we got here? We've got an oscillator playing mixed games. Okay, there's a mixed signals here at the moment. This thing's super choppy. It's not giving me clear information currently. But what I do like about this, and I've labeled this for you guys, I've said here conviction zone. Okay, so the zone of interest for me is this monster VWAP coming up here. Look how we reacted off this VWAP the previous time we hit this guy. Okay, so that's a banger. Then we've got our 50-day MA. Look at that banger there. And that is bringing up the rear. And then we've got, on top of that, we've got our 786 in play with our lows, and we've got our 618. So for me, in terms of the conviction zone for AVAX, it's 28.8 down to, by the time it hits 28, we should have the VWAP playing catch up the 50 days as well. So 28.8 to 28. Okay, that looks like a nice bounce zone. If you're playing in the degen zone, it means you're taking on risk. You're looking for a little bounce here. You're looking for a sneaky move, but it might not be sustainable. It might be something like this for you guys that you're going to be looking at. Okay, so degen zone is 29.9 to 29.6 is your degen zone. Okay, I wrote there, degen zone. You might get a bounce. The higher conviction zone, 28.8 down to 28 for me on AVAX. That makes sense for a possible bounce. Okay, that will be in the Hackers Discord for you guys shortly. Let's talk 𝗬𝗎. Okay, so also an interesting one here, and kind of in no man's land. I think my trade might actually just get rinsed at the moment. Hackers, we'll talk about this in the Sunday bang. Okay, we'll make decisions together there with how we're going to play this thing. But in terms of big levels here, for me on 𝗬𝗎, what makes the most sense for us at the moment? And I'd have to say, like, looking at it like a possible 1.7 to about a 3% dip on 𝗬𝗎 looks like a beautiful reset for the weekend. Remember, there's our weekend lows on 𝗬𝗎 sitting at 3.49. Okay, so if we do drop into that type of area, that would be a beautiful weekend clear out, bang, and then some kind of bounce there for me. So zone number 1 for 𝗬𝗎 that makes sense to me is going to be, let me just mark it out like this. Zone number 1. You can see the order block, the 100-day MA, and the 50. So that is 3.51 down to 3.45. That looks like relatively nice there for some kind of bounce. That resets the weekend, that hits a 382, that hits the horizontal. It deals with the 50-day MA as well. So that looks like a good one, 3.45. Then a little bit lower down, I just want to highlight this backup area here for you. 3.37 looks pretty good. Okay, right now you can see this VWAP. Now, the longer the price action floats around higher up, means the more time this VWAP has to come and start drifting a little bit higher. Okay, so first zone 3.45 there with that VWAP. But if this happens quickly and we get a quick capitulation, look for a long here, 3.4 to 3.36. Okay, 3.4 to 3.36. Look for a long there if it happens quickly in the next couple of hours. Okay, that could be a nice one for 𝗬𝗎 there for you guys. But you can see the zones here. You can see how they make sense in those types of areas. Okay, let's deal with pump. And guys, here's a long for you on pump. 625 down to 595. 625 to 595. There's a long. Okay, VWAP 0.5 trend. Horizontal looks good. Okay, and if we drop to those types of levels, you're going to see a bullish divergence print there, bang, okay, on the 2-hour, and then pump is going to give you a decent move. Okay, so wait for it to come to you. I'm going to set my alarm here. This could be a banger. Let's go again at this pump thing, and we can just keep riding this pump. Okay, we just keep trying this thing. I like this thing. I think this thing can pump, and I keep trying to look for entries. Wilfie Rion says, "Did we cover Wilfie? Rion, I'm underwater in Wilfie. I'm going to chart it carefully and slowly. We're going to talk about it in the Sunday banger, which is happening directly after the show. Okay, so come to 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏's Discord. Come join us there, and we will cover that for you guys. Okay. All right. So there's pump. You get the drill. You get the deal. 618. Okay. Then let's go. Oh, ZCASH. All of a sudden, everyone loves privacy and everyone loves ZCASH. So ZCASH in 2024 and ZCASH in 2025. Okay, now I don't know. I just see this thing fucking continuously pump. I mean, geez, look at this thing. I mean, this is quite brutal at the moment. So, like I said, let's chart this thing together. Now, I didn't get time to chart it before I went live, so I thought we could just do it together. Let's see. Let's look for our big markers. Like, what's in the way here? Where can this thing possibly reject? And we just want to get out our macro fibs and just start getting a little picture, as to where we need to be careful with this guy. Okay, so right now you can see 194 looking like a big danger zone there. That's our 0.5, and then you've got another banger there, 236. So these are also potentially upside targets. My God. James, what's the story behind this thing? Wow, why is this thing ripping like that?
Yeah, I mean, XMR was moving, not like this, but it was going up as well. I don't know if the reason for the privacy coins taking off like this is because of all this talk about digital IDs in the UK or something, and that's what this is, that people are looking to be able to put money away that can't be seen. I'm not sure, but yeah, this thing's gone insane.
Okay, so look, it's all about the narratives, guys, and this thing's obviously on the narrative. Look, it's printed on the 1 hour, it's printed bullish divergence. I'm just trying to get you guys a picture here as to, levels we can play with. 2 hour, 2 hours. 2 hour could be a little bit more sauce in the tank on this guy. Let's try and break it down for some kind of DGen entry here. Let's go 30 minutes.
Somebody tweeted about it here, 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏, whoever that is.
What does he have to say? what's the latest narrative?
That's just somebody here in the chat saying this. I'm not sure. They're saying that's why it pumped, because he was tweeting about it. CZ kind of bull posting, I guess.
About ZCASH. Okay, well, I mean, then we know. Then we know it's going to fly. Okay, so let's see there. Okay, that makes sense. Cool. Okay, let's see what's going on. I'm trying to get you guys something filthy here. I want to filth you guys up here with an entry here. Let's go 15 minutes. Okay, if you want to do a DGen thing here, you can use your DGen horizontals and your local VWAP. It's filthy. Okay, what you're doing here is filth. Okay, just remember this. That's your extreme that you can use. So I would say use the VWAP and use that 618 and trend as your main support there. Okay, so if you want to have to take a shower and wash yourself off, okay, and hopefully not cry in it if you get rinsed, but this is effectively what you're looking at. 155 to 150 on ZCASH. Look for this. That is your reasonable support there for the bulls. That's the DGen support zone that you want to watch. Okay, so 155 to 150. Look for a long there on ZCASH. If that fails, guys, just chill. Okay, you can see this thing's got a big rising trend here. You can see your next level backup zone there. Okay, there's your backup level, 143. Okay, 143 is your backup zone. You probably get a bounce there. Okay, so if you lose that trend, you probably get a bounce. I don't know how high, but it could just be something like that on that ZCASH. Okay, 143, 144 is going to be your next bounce zone. Okay, we'll continue the rest in the Chart Hackers Sunday Bang. I've got DJ and Dave coming to join me. We'll cover all of that stuff and tons more, obviously. James, thank you, sir.
Okay, good luck, everyone. Going to be an interesting open today or tonight.
Okay, guys, good luck. Okay, I mean, you can see my sentiment here. 2 hour, 4 hour, maybe a little bit bearish. If we get a surprise pump out of the market, for me, it's another opportunity to clip off a couple more profits there at those higher levels, because we're going to print more bearish divergence. Okay, I'll go into it in depth in the Chart Hackers session that we're going to have in a couple of minutes. Okay, see you guys later. Good to be back.